Hello everybody and welcome back to Bring Your Own Popcorn, and welcome to day number 8 of the 12 Days of Christmas, where I watch and review a Christmas film that I have never seen before. And in today's episode we're going to be switching it up a little bit, and I'm going to be watching a Christmas horror film, Krampus. So yeah, I know fairly little about this film. Actually, I know nothing about the film at all, but I do know Krampus is like... Is it Santa Claus's alter ego? Like evil alter ego or evil brother or something? I think that's maybe what the myth of Krampus is, but I'm not entirely sure. I have heard fairly mixed things about this film. I've heard some people praising it, saying it's a lot of fun, and I've heard some people really go to town on this one, saying how absolutely abysmal that the movie is. So I have heard really polarising opinions on it, but I am fairly excited to check it out, and this is the first Christmas horror film the first and only Christmas horror film that I'll be doing in the 12 Days of Christmas. So yeah, excited to check it out for that reason. So without further ado, let's crack on and watch Krampus. I've just realised this is the first 12 Days of Christmas that I've done where the Christmas decorations have been up. So here's the Christmas tree. I thought I'd just quickly show that off. And we have some Christmas decorations down here. And if we swing around, there's my advent calendar, a wee snowman there, some tinsel up there. And we got our Christmas cushions round here. So here we go with Krampus. Let's quickly read the description. The demonic alter ego of Jolly St. Nick, so I was right, terrorises a dysfunctional family who lose the Christmas spirit. Horror comedy romp starring Toni Collette and Adam Scott. Oh, Toni Collette, she's a fantastic actress. Ah, that's made me a little bit more excited. It's only an hour and 38, which I think is probably the perfect length for a film like this. So, yeah, released in 2015, so not that old. I'm actually looking forward to this one. It looked pretty interesting. And this cover art up here actually looks fairly cool. I quite like that. So, I'm excited for this one. So, let's jump into it. Krampus.
He is the shadow of St. Nicholas.
Okay, so I just got done watching Krampus for the first time, and even though I'd heard really mixed things about this film, I'd heard people saying this film was brilliant, and I'd heard people saying this film was absolutely atrocious, like one of the worst Christmas films ever made, atrocious. I was actually really pleasantly surprised by this film. This was a pretty damn fun Christmas horror film with a real nice dark sense of humour to it. In terms of plot, I will say it's nothing spectacular, but it is interesting enough. The setup in the film, like the first kind of 30 minutes, has been done to death. Like, this family getting ready for Christmas, and then their family members join them, and they don't like the family members very much, and they're really annoying. This stuff is all extremely tropey and cliche, and has been done hundreds of times throughout Christmas movie history. But the film has a real dark and rather rude sense of humour to it, so to a certain extent it kind of gives a new lease of life to these scenes that we've seen 100 times in 100 different Christmas films. I will say, however, I did roll my eyes at the start of this film with the amount of cliches that they were just throwing at the screen. Like, I don't know if it was on purpose. It very much could have been on purpose, kind of a parody take on it, but I didn't pick up on this if that was the case, because I genuinely rolled my eyes. The first 30 minutes of the film is so incredibly cliche and tropey. Once we pass that first half an hour though, the film becomes this really dark, fun twist on the Christmas film formula. I love how this film actually delved into the mythology of Krampus, because there is actually really interesting folklore behind this mythical character. It'd be so easy just to have Krampus front this movie to be this scary guy without actually delving into what Krampus is. And I think this film delves into it really well, and it is really interesting. I thought the dialogue in this film was absolutely hilarious, with most of the jokes making me laugh out loud. As I said, the sense of humour is really dark, but I've got a real dark sense of humour sometimes, and I found this film absolutely hilarious. The film was incredibly self-aware. It knew exactly what it was and didn't try and be more than that, which I really appreciated. A lot of the film was in extreme good taste and was just extremely tongue-in-cheek, which I absolutely loved. In saying all this though, I will say the third act of this film lost me a little bit. I felt like the full film wasn't wrapped up well enough, and it just wasn't that satisfying to me in the end. It almost felt like the writers just run out of story, which happened, but I just wish a little bit more thought was put into the ending of this film, because it seemed to wrap up very quickly and they gave us this really weird and anticlimactic ending. I thought the direction of this film was absolutely brilliant, actually. I thought this film was shot really well, with the film having this real unique sense of, just a really unique style to it, I thought, which is very different to other 2010s movies that were, 2010s horror movies that were coming out around this time. The aesthetic of the film is actually very similar to like B horror movies from the 90s, like Puppet Master or stuff like that, you know what I'm talking about. And I thought that this style really suited what the film was going for. The film actually felt like a modern retelling of that kind of style, like an updated take on the kind of B movies from the 90s. The character designs were absolutely awesome. They were so cool. And I think some of them, I wasn't actually entirely sure, but I think some of them was practical effects, which are just fantastic, and they looked absolutely amazing here. I just really dug how this film looked aesthetically, and I thought the director done a fantastic job with it. I think in terms of performances, the cast done a pretty great job. Toni Collette is an absolutely fantastic actress, and she consistently gives great performances and consistently brings her A-game, no matter what film she's in. Adam Scott is really good here too, and he obviously has great comedic timing. He's a comedic actor, but he also brings a real emotional sense of character to his character, and I really appreciated that. I thought MJ Anthony was also fantastic as Max. He's a brilliant little kid actor. He honestly stole the show in some of the scenes. I will say that David Koechner and Alison Tolman were the best in this film, and I don't know if that's down to more the way they were written, but I don't think they gave the best performances in my opinion. Their comedic timing was a little all over the place, with some of their lines really making me laugh out loud, and because of their delivery making me laugh out loud, and in some of them their delivery fell a little bit flat and I just kind of missed the joke completely. However, I don't think they were bad by any means. In some of the more serious scenes of the film, they really shone. Overall, Krampus was a fun, self-aware Christmas horror film that I had an absolute blast with. It was nothing special by any means, and I do think that the story and the script of this film did need a little bit more work before they decided to actually go ahead and make the movie. But at the end of the day, this film provided fun, which is the main thing that a film should do. Overall, this one gets my recommendation, and I would like to give Krampus a 7 out of 10. But that's just my thoughts. Please leave down in the comments your thoughts on Krampus. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's just alright? I absolutely love to read your comments, and I try and respond to every single one of them. Please join me back here tomorrow at 6 PM for day 9 of the 12 Days of Christmas, where I'll be watching for the first time and reviewing Spirited. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.